Okay, we will call the meeting to order. First item on our agenda, there being no public hearings, is the approval of our September 12th and October 10th planning board minutes. Did everyone get a chance to read the two encyclopedias that Karen sent us?
Only one of them is an encyclopedia, but I think it's necessary.
Yeah. I did point out to Karen, the only one minor thing that I saw was that in the October minutes, there was only 4 of us here, but she put down 5-0 votes, so she's just going to change those numbers.
I didn't think about that.
Because Matt wasn't here. You know.
I have him absent on the minutes,
Yeah.
so it's.
I mean, it's so rare that now here we are with 4 again.
2 months in a row.
I make a motion that the board accept the September 12th minutes as presented by the secretary.
A second.
Any discussion?
I just want to remind everybody that we still need to hear from Jason Hoy before the timber banks issue goes forward, as are pointed out in the minutes.
Yep.
Amen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. I make a motion that we accept the October 10th planning board minutes with the one noted change to the number of board members attending.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Matt, you
Yeah, I
need to abstain. Yeah.
Well, that's true. I'm sorry. You're right. Our first item of business is the control site used for Stump Busters, Inc. Is there anyone here? Okay, since we don't have the SWEP for this, and there's no one here to update us, we're going to table this till the next one.
Has Julian given you an idea? Okay.
Haven't heard word from him.
Next item, control site use, Enterprise Fire Company, number 1, Lamson Roads.
Yes.
No, there's a few maps there, but nothing more than what you have.
We just got to read a few things in the record. And I have a letter from him.
Hey, John, this is station 3, right?
Yes, this is all to do with the state mandated stuff that's coming into effect. Plus the house 2 more from the water drops,
Yeah.
which are here. We don't know where they're going.
Anyone want to just make a few comments, or can we just proceed?
You just
So John's here to represent the fire company.
Yeah, I mean, being that it was a fire department, when I talked to Tim, got the permit, we assumed it was gonna be easy, then come to find out with it being an enterprise, and the county had to get involved. I guess it went through the county planning last night.
Yep, so basically, the long and short of this isn't a fire district, this is a fire company that the town contracts with to provide fire protection to the West Phoenix
Yes,
neighborhood.
and they're putting newer apparatus in there to better service that side of the river.
Which should increase response times to benefit to the
A lot.
community overall. And it's a pretty it's basically doubles the size of the fire station. However,
That house more truck.
however, in the whole grand scheme of things, it's not a big change or isn't going to be much of any difference from what's there currently.
There's no Taj Mahal, so.
I went out and looked at the structure.
Yeah, it's.
I guess the only question I have is, where are the property lines in relation to where the building And
So it does meet this-
where the fencing now is,
It does meet the setback requirements, or appears to meet the setback requirements. And something like this, I can't see forcing the taxpayers to go out and do another survey when this is in the interest of public safety. It does appear from the tax mapping and the survey that they marked up there that it will meet the requirements. I just don't see the justification to have them go out and do a new survey, just for this. If it was a regular fire district, we wouldn't even be looking at it. They would just be able to go ahead and build the thing.
That's why I have been partially way through this. So.
Yeah, so if this was a fire district, they wouldn't even have to be in front of us. They would just build this and there wouldn't be any questions asked. I can't see, and ultimately, if they have to get a survey that's just gonna add to their budget, which is just gonna increase the taxes on the residents, I can't see that being justified in this situation. They have more than enough room to build a building.
I agree. My only concern was, are there neighbors that might,
No, we've already discussed it with all the neighbors.
so they don't have a problem?
No, they're all happy, they've come over, because we're doing 99% of this ourselves to save a bunch of money. Because you don't have it. They had a company come in and they wanted to rehab Station 1, and they were looking at $35 million. Not feasible. So, this is the next step that we took that was more reasonable money-wise, financially. And then everybody agreed that we could do this pretty much ourselves, so.
Is a firehouse subject to parking requirements? Like would this require additional parking? It's more
I
square
mean, they
footage.
got plenty of room there in the driveway to park cars. And
Oh, yeah, the parking lot's quite large now,
I
because
don't know,
with it being turned the other way, you're losing 3/4 of the parking lot, because now you'll be able to come out straight. Before, you had to come out the end of the building, turn way out because of the length of the truck.
I drove in there and turned around and so there was plenty of room.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's no issue with parking there. It's a, boy, I just consider it such a minor change that I hated to have to even make it come in front of us, quite honestly, but Tim needed that. He needs,
yeah, the next step.
yeah, Tim needed it, needed the blessing from the planning board to finalize the building permit, so that's why they're here.
And I appreciate it, please. You wouldn't understand how much, so.
And there's no intention to use it for, like, as a community room or
No,
anything like that?
no.
It's apparatus storage?
No, it's just apparatus storage.
No office, no bathrooms.
Yeah. None of that can you put in any of the new part.
Okay. Any other questions? I think we're good to go.
Right.
Okay, let me read into the record before we get started with letter here from our engineer, Mr. Al Yeager. Dear Chairman Corey and Lysander Planning Board members, I have completed my review of the site plan provided for the above referenced project. Typically, a more detailed site plan would be desired. However, the applicant is a valuable provider of public safety for the community, and this project will allow for staging of more equipment on the west side of the river, which will improve response time. The site plan as presented meets the required lot setback requirements, and it will not disturb more than 1 acre, so studies, permit, and SWEP will not be required. At this time, I have no further engineering comments and would not be opposed to the planning board approving the site plan as presented. I'll also read into the record the comments from the county planning board. I won't read all their whereases, I will just read the final conclusion. Now therefore be it resolved that the Onondaga County Planning Board recommends the following modifications to the proposed action prior to local board approval of the proposed action. The Onondaga County Health Department's Bureau of Public Health Engineering must formally accept or approve respectively any existing or proposed septic system to service this property prior to or as a condition of municipal approval of the site plan. Is there a septic system on
There's
there?
already one there,
Has it been approved?
25 years ago.
Okay.
Jeff Tip, I'm dealing with Jeff Till right now, so. She seems to be a pretty good guy.
So it's still working.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Jeff will probably just come out and do a dye test on it. I don't anticipate there'll be any issues there.
What is the, there's some right-of-way, which seem to be quite a ways, 50 feet off the road, and then there's one behind you.
It's Old Lamson Road.
Old Lamson
Yeah.
Road.
That used to be the main road.
Yeah.
It's abandoned now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's abandoned, right?
Yeah.
So right now, the deed to that roadway is still in the county's name. The county is gonna transfer it to the town, and then the town will transfer that in to the Enterprise Fire
That's
Company,
what's in.
as it'll be their driveway. So that's, the county moves a little slow on.
So
The
that's
county
in the
moves a little slow on. It
That's in the works.
is in the works. It's been in the works for like 3 years, quite
Oh,
honestly.
good.
Okay,
Does the board think this warrants a secret review?
Probably should run through a short form.
There's one in the file there.
what I was just starting. I don't know why I'm here anymore.
Well, have they submitted one?
Yes, they
Yeah.
submitted a short
Yeah.
form. meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get this going before I get yelled at again. Resolved that the planning board, having followed the prescribed seeker procedures and having received no comments to the contrary, hereby designates itself as lead agency for the Enterprise Fire Company Number 1, addition to property located at 2929 Lamson Road, Phoenix, New York, control site use application. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? We'll do the short form seeker. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulation? No. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of the use of land? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No. Will the proposed action impact existing public or private water supplies? No. Public or private wastewater treatment? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources? No. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? Not significant. Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No. Resolved that having reviewed the seeker requirements and determined that this is an unlisted action, and having reviewed the short environmental assessment form, and finding no significant or adverse impacts resulting from the Enterprise Fire Company Number 1 addition, 2929 Lamson Road, Phoenix, New York, control site use application, the planning board issues a negative declaration. Do I have a second? Second. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstaining, so moved. Resolved that having reviewed a revised site plan previously prepared by Louis Olsted for the initial construction of what was known as the Enterprise Fire Department Station Number 3, now showing a 72 by 52 foot addition associated with the application of Enterprise Fire Company Number 1 for a control site use permit on property located at 2929 Lamson Road, Phoenix, New York, to allow the storage of vehicles. The site plan is hereby approved with the following conditions. The only condition
Would be the county septic system approval, county Department of Health septic
Right.
system approval. So John, you'll just need to get the letter from Jeff before Tim gives you the CO.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, not a problem.
Yeah, it should be, Jeff's really good to deal with. You won't have to-
I mean, he's been awesome so
Yeah,
far.
Jeff's great, yeah.
He's texting me at like 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah, no, Jeff's one of the great people at the county, like, he gets things done over there, so you won't have any problems with it.
Awesome.
So we've added, to our approval, we've added the condition of the county health department septic approval.
Yep.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second?
I do it for discussion. What's our front yard setback?
So that on Lamson Road, it would be 100 feet, because it is a collector road,
Okay, so let me ask the
but
question.
it's 100 feet from the edge of pavement,
Southern line.
or center line, sorry, center line of the road.
Okay, because they've got something on here about 50 foot.
Yep, that's from the right of way, but from center line of road,
Okay,
because
so
it's
so the
100
true
foot.
setback is from center line of road.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they
In the
meet
highway
And they
overlay,
meet the 100 foot.
correct.
Okay, that's all.
Or that of adjoining structures, which they meet as well. You
Oh,
can
adjoining
also-
structures,
Yeah.
okay. Right.
Any other? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so moved.
Because also it says it's the rear setback, but is that because it used to be fronted on the old
Correct,
Lansing Road?
correct, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
You all set then?
Yep.
You good?
All right, thank you, man.
No problem.
Thank you, Karen, appreciate it.
Let me know if Jeff, if you can run into anything on the septic system, we'll need to.
All right, I will.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Next item is a site plan approval for Radisson Flex Space Warehousing. Left. Wait a minute, there, I got some small. Yeah.
Good evening. I'm Ben Harrell with CHA Consulting here on behalf of Brundage Road LLC. So what they are proposing is a two-phase project. The first phase will be to come in, construct a gravel parking area, two separate ones because the site is divided by wetlands. This will be used for truck and heavy equipment storage. Chris Dombach, the owner, owns Industry Standard USA, which is a construction company. So he would use the space for both his own dump trucks and potentially lease out some additional space to other contractors that he works
Can you
with.
talk a little louder, please?
Yes, sorry. So he will lease out the space, well, part of the space, he'll use some of it for himself. And then in the future, a couple of years down the road, he will come in and build office slash flex space warehousing. So each of these will be leased out, there will be separate units, a couple thousand square feet each. And his target will be plumbers and electricians. They'll use this as a home base where they can store all of their extra wiring and piping that they don't have room on job sites for. So they'll, in theory, come here in the morning and afternoons. There'll be a small office where they can run numbers and do estimates. It won't be somewhere that customers would come and meet them. It would just be for them and their employees. So there will be plenty of parking with what's shown, and I guess that's really a wrap of what is there. So the site is on Brundage Road. This is West Entry Road. If you're looking on Google Maps, north is this way. So Ainsley is here, the new bus garage is here, McLean is here, and Budweiser is down here.
The trucks that he wants to do initially would be outdoor storage, correctly?
Yes.
Do we have any restriction?
No, and it's, the one thing I will say is there is a pavement requirement. However, being that it's gonna be a short-term, staging area, so essentially the owner has the contract for bridge demo for the 81 corridor. And he just there's no place to stage trucks and equipment downtown for him. So he needs a space to stage trucks and equipment. Well, and then it's gonna be a multi-year project that's going on once he's done using the space for his staging area, for his trucks and equipment. He wants to do the flex-based warehousing is how it's been explained.
So we would waive this pavement requirement for vehicle storage?
Yeah. There's, gypsum obviously has areas where there's vehicles stored on gravel as well. So it's not anything new that we haven't done in the past.
And we would pay the entry if you wanted the first 50 or 100 feet into the
Yeah,
site. So that way you're not tracking dust and dirt out onto the road.
All the vehicles, I assume, are registered. It would be for storage of idle vehicles. It's for vehicles.
No, it would be,
Active.
yes, exactly.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's some loaders, excavators, stuff like that staged there.
You say that again, Alan, a little louder?
I wouldn't be surprised if there isn't heavy equipment staged there as well, loaders, excavators, skid steers, stuff like that from time to time.
So how much daily traffic will there be on and out of it, since it's a staging area?
Well, you'll have trucks coming in and out in the morning and evening.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many trucks he has right now. I mean, maybe 20 trucks. I mean, it's not, when in the whole grand scheme of things of what, you know, from a truck traffic standpoint in Radisson, I don't consider it significant in any way, shape, or form.
Less traffic than the bus garage by far.
For sure, yeah, for sure.
Amen to that. So for, what, possibly 2 years?
Yeah, I think really just, well, the 81, yeah, well, the
Yeah, it's
81,
gonna depend on,
how long 81 takes, basically.
Yeah,
so,
it'll take a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2-3 years.
So the actual end target, that's down the road.
yes.
It is, yeah.
So let me ask, if there is a code requirement that this be paved,
It's actually ESDC. It's not necessarily in our code, it's part of the Radisson.
okay. So I was gonna ask, I mean, are we allowed to get a variance for something like that?
No, it's actually part of the corporate controls. But they've approved it in the past, like you said, they did over here for gypsum,
So at some point, we'll be getting.
a letter from ESDC, correct?
So the town code, the town does not have a requirement for something like this, the surface to be paved?
I do not believe it does.
Okay.
Just the entrance driveways would be part of the town code requirement.
Yeah.
So, to further this along, so the reason that they're in front of you today is the wetland regulations in New York State changes as of January 1. So as of January 1, all wetlands in MS4 suburban areas will become state jurisdictional, which will require a 100-foot setback, which essentially makes this lot undevelopable if they do not get seeker approval and the negative declaration posted in the environmental, the ENB before December 31st. So really all they're looking for you to do is run through the short form negative declaration. Yeah, short form and declare a negative declaration. Essentially so that this property can be a viable industrial property within the town, on the town's tax rolls. Because otherwise it's just gonna sit with the SDC, it's gonna sit with the SDC for all of eternity and never be developed.
So I've never submitted anything to the environmental bulletin for short forms.
You can.
And it's after a coordinated review, so I just send it as if
You just send it as to be published as a short form.
okay.
Yep, should be relatively simple.
Okay,
So are there any known wetland problems with?
They have a wetland delineation report that was prepared by Earth Dimensions. They have avoided all impacts. Earth Dimensions has identified the wetlands as potentially federal wetlands, not as state wetlands under current guidelines.
But under the new law,
Everything in the town of Lysander will be considered a state wetland going
because of
forward.
MS4.
Because we're considered the suburban community. So anything, basically, if you're in Lysander, Clay, anything in the suburban Syracuse metro area, any community that's an MS4 community, all wetlands will become state jurisdictional with a 100-foot buffer.
good. But given the fact that they're now federal,
They avoid all.
what they're proposing here, what they're showing us here, will not impact any of those federal wetlands.
Correct.
There are no impacts.
Any other question? This time? Okay. Resolved, that the planning board, having followed the prescribed seeker procedures and having received no comments to the contrary, hereby designates itself as lead agency for the Radisson Flex Space and Warehousing on property located at West Entry and Bernage Roads, Baldwinsville, site plan application. Do I have a second? Second. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, so moved. We'll do the short form. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulation?
Jack, may I interrupt you just for a moment? Sure. We are considering for this environmental, all of the development that we discussed, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Otherwise, it would be segmentation.
Right, okay, for the record, I want to say that.
Oh, no.
Can you repeat it?
We're considering for the environmental impact, the entire development that he's discussed.
Yeah.
Not just this equipment storage, but his long-term plan.
Yep.
No, that, yeah, we have to do that.
Yes.
Yeah. I totally know, so. All right. It does not create a conflict with the plan. Will the proposed action result in the change in the use or the intensity of the use of land? Not significant. I would agree with that. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? No, fits in. Yeah. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, and walkway? There'll be an increase, but insignificant in the traffic. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? Will the proposed action impact existing public or private water supply? No. With wastewater treatment? No, not significant.
Is there sewer there?
There is sewer on West Entry Road.
Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Will the proposed action result in adverse change to natural resources, e.g. wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, etc.? Not significant. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage? Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No. Some of these questions we could probably answer a little better. Not that we didn't answer them, and I'm comfortable with what we did, because normally we'd have more information for the second phase of this,
We would.
which would gets to some of these questions.
Does.
Are you guys comfortable?
I'm comfortable based on what he said. I mean,
I'm comfortable with it.
I mean, there is a full
I just
plan
wanna
set there
point out
for the long-term development and warehouse space sizing and whatnot. So you do have a full plan set there, which I will not be reviewing. I'm recusing myself from this. Jason Hoy is gonna do the
Right.
formal review. He has provided with a letter today saying that he has reviewed the seeker form and that the information presented is out here.
And you just need more information to finish it for you.
And which he has now. It was delivered to him yesterday.
Okay.
So we gotta wait for that anyway.
Exactly, from final site plan approval.
Yeah,
yes.
but
Yeah,
we're a long ways from that, apparently.
correct.
All right. Resolved that having reviewed the seeker regulations, determined this is an unlisted action, and having reviewed the short environmental assessment form, and finding no significant or adverse impact resulting from the Radisson flex space and warehousing on property located at West Entry and Brundage Roads, Baldwinsville, New York, site plan application, the planning board issues a negative declaration. Do I have a second?
that,
Discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, so moved. Okay, thank you.
so after January 1st, if he wants to go build something which is in a 100-foot buffer, he can, because he has had an environmental review completed.
Yes, if your environmental, even if you don't start construction before December 31st, as long as the environmental review has been completed by December 31st, you're grandfathered under the delineation as a federal wetland.
If 3 years from now, they make a determination that they don't want to do flex storage, they want to do an office space.
All bets are off the table, he's got to start the environmental
So-
review
so
over.
That goes off.
So the property owner understands that if the use were to change and have to come in front of this board again, it would be reviewed differently under the current law, which at the time we would suspect will.
The state will take jurisdiction.
Yes.
If you have to do seeker review again, and you're starting over, it will be a
What about just a physical change of size, the height of buildings?
I don't think that would be significant enough to warrant a new seeker review. As long as you're not increasing the impervious area beyond what's shown now, I don't.
They would still have to show us the change though in the plan.
Correct. They'd still have to come back in front of you for a site plan amendment.
Yeah.
However, it wouldn't be significant. I don't believe it'd be, any change would be significant enough to warrant an additional seeker review.
But couldn't another individual come in and do the same, do a different use but the same footprint
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
without having to do seeker? Something like what they were going to do out at United Auto.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. That's an interesting. We'd want to get a legal opinion from.
You'd have to.
Yeah, we'd have to get a legal opinion on that. Wouldn't want to venture out on that limb without an attorney.
Because if someone were to say, I had site plan approval or seeker approval, and I just sold my project to someone else that changes hands, we would not do an environmental review again.
Right, because it goes with the
Or if it was
land.
to be sold and someone were to say, on that same footprint, I want to use it for a different use, I would want to get legal
I think so.
counsel review on that.
Yeah,
That may be a different element.
correct.
I think it would change,
I think so too.
because we're.
That's all hypothetical at this point in time.
Yeah.
I just gonna say, we got a while before we get there.
And I think it would, because one of the elements that's in consideration for the seeker is the intended use. So if the intended use, even on that same footprint, was to change, it would require a new review.
Okay, next item is, final plat meter subdivision, Collington Point East. We have two lots, lot 63A and Chillingham Way. I have a letter from our engineer regarding that. Dear Chairman Corey and Lysander Planning Board members, I have completed my review of the amended final plat for the above referenced minor subdivision prepared by Newsy Romans Land Surveying PC dated November 2nd, 2023. The plat revised lot 63 from an 85-foot lot with a width to a 92-foot lot width to provide the required side yard setback for the home that has already been constructed on the lot. This change will result in the green space areas surrounding the existing pond to be reduced by 0.03 acres, which is considered minor and will not affect the town's ability to maintain the green space once the deed for the property is conveyed to the town. I have spoken with the town supervisor and town attorney, and they do not consider this reduction in green space significant, and they are not opposed to the requested change. At this time, I would not be opposed to the planning board authorizing the chairman to sign the final plat as presented at this time. So basically on lot 63, what we approved, the only change that's been made to that is this 7-foot adjustment.
The western lot line
Right, it's been
is
moved
moved 7
7
feet, correct,
Okay, other than that, it's the same.
correct.
I have a question. How many houses are now in the area that's comprising this?
It has not exceeded the 38 that the planning board allowed when we did the phasing, allowed them to change the phasing. So I don't know if you all recall this, I don't think you were on the board, Matt. So initially when this was supposed to be, Chillingham Way was supposed to come out and turn and connect back to Patchett Road. The developer came in and wanted to do the loop of Stony Pond Way first, rather than doing the connection to Patchett Road as phase 2. Reasoning for that being the utility extension costs. Because there's very few lots on what will be, there's less lots on what will be now phase 3, which would be the connection road to Patchett Road, than there was on Stony Pond Way. The planning board allowed for that. It could allow for up to 38 homes to be constructed before the road to the connecting road, the final connecting road to Patchett is constructed. The actual resolution reads that he would construct that road by the winter of 2022. Obviously, home sales, I don't know if anybody's driven through there, but Stony Pond Way right now has 3 homes on it. So he is a long way from building out that section right now. I believe, what is section 2 or phase 2 of the development had 15 lots in it, and he's got 3 of the 15 constructed.
The road now off of Patchett is not a road, it's just a construction.
It is a construction entrance, that is
And that's
correct.
all it was supposed to ever be.
I spoke with the, and then it's in poor condition right now, and it needs to be cleaned up. I spoke to the developer this afternoon, and said, as a condition of me writing the letter that I just wrote, that he needs to clean up that entrance and regrade it and get it stabilized, and put some signs up that it is a construction entrance and it is not meant for pedestrian vehicles.
Hopefully it is available and fixed enough so that the fire department could get in if they had to.
I think the fire department could get in now, but it definitely
Okay.
needs to be
Yeah.
improved. It has not received the maintenance that is
And are
needed.
they're continuing to plow it in the wintertime?
They are, yes.
Because that would be a concern,
Mm-hmm.
based on where the fire company comes from, the closest one, and the fact that they would have to make 3 right-hand turns to get up into some of those areas if the construction road were not available. I appreciate your thoroughness, Al. I don't know if you knew I was already looking at the minutes.
I did.
And I have copies of them here, just so you guys can look at it. I would not get Al one, but he's got it memorized. I marked,
I'll be perfectly honest with you, your memory is better than mine, because I didn't remember that winter 2022 piece of it.
I didn't either, but I remember there was discussion.
Yeah.
And I asked Karen if she would find the minutes, and she did. It actually goes back to something that we were all familiar with at the time. And I made a mention of Highland Meadows, at which time, when they get ready to build more and build more houses, we said, okay, you can do that, but you've gone far enough without connecting the other end of the road. So there are 2 ways in and out of there, if need be. And my comment is in the first page on here, and it's marked. And the resolution is pretty clear, in my opinion. There were 3 requirements, the second of which was requiring the road connection to Patchett Road for Phase 2 be completed by the start of winter 2022. That was 2 years ago. How can we do anything more with them if they're not going to abide by the resolution that we passed?
And I don't think, so this lot is, the plat has been approved for this lot. The final plat has been approved for this lot. They are amending the final plat. They have not exceeded the 38 lots.
They're like
It's really your
26.
discretion in this instance. Let's face it, with the pandemic, I think everybody took a bit of a hit and housing slowed down. This is a developer that's worked in the town for well over 20 years and has never not fulfilled his duties and done what the town has asked him to do. I would not want to discourage him from continuing on and building this out, or encumbering him with an undue financial hardship, because the problem with putting those additional lots on is the National Grid bonding process. So if he built that road now and had the public utilities put in, he would have to put up a bond of $3,500 per lot, and he's already at risk with his bond for Phase 2 to get those built out, or he is going to lose that bond to National Grid. So to ask him to put an additional, I believe what is gonna be Phase 3 now, will have 12 lots on, and post that kind of bond when he already has a lot inventory now, that I don't feel that that's warranted in this issue, as long as he agrees to clean up the existing construction entrance and get it regraded.
I appreciate what you're saying, I understand the logic. I guess the question I have is, why did they not come to us and say, we're not gonna be able to do this, we have a financial problem, can you change it?
Fairly certain he didn't remember the 2022.
Long since forgotten.
It was 5 years, so it was 5 years from when it was approved, so we're 7 years out now.
So how far would we let it go?
Well, I think we let it go until he's ready to put more lots online, personally. That's my opinion. It's, as long as the construction entrance is maintained and a fire truck can enter then that construction entrance, I
That's,
can't see penalizing.
that is the big problem, and I don't wanna penalize them either.
Yeah,
But by the same token, I think they need to be reminded, number one, to clean it up, what you've already done.
yep,
And secondly, they kind of need to come back and give us a timetable and tell us what they're gonna do.
you know, really, it's all on lot sales, Hugh.
Yeah, it is, and
Quite frankly, Timber Banks is monopolizing the new home construction to a certain degree right now. That is the fastest growing development in Onondaga County, threefold. And it really is taking a lot of the wind out of every other developer's sales, per se.
Well, I mainly wanted to get this issue addressed, and I appreciate your bringing it up rather than me having to. And as always, you were fully ready. And I'm not gonna sit here and pound the table and say, no, we're not gonna do it. But I do think there needs to be something going forward here, that we're not sitting here another 5 years, which I won't be here, dealing with this again with nobody to remind us that, hey, you know, you said you were gonna do this in '22 and it's now 1929.
Yeah.
well, that's the problem with anything that this board does. We have no enforcement. And
Correct.
we have no, policing, so when something that's a condition of what we say, it's difficult to understand whether or not it ever takes place. But for me, if the intention of this item 2 was to secure safe access for fire vehicles into it, there's a resolution in front of us right now. I think we could approve it with another condition, and the condition that the construction road be maintained in a manner that provides adequate access for fire equipment. And we can even say adequate access as determined by the local fire, the responding fire department. We can ask the fire department if they would, I don't know if they have the resources, but periodically, could you check that road?
I'm sure we could
Report back
ask
to us.
Kit to drive down there and she would be all.
And ask whether or not.
The paid guys will do
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
The
yeah.
paid guys will do it.
Yeah, so if the road gets into a condition that's unacceptable, if they could notify us, then we could use our code enforcement to ask them to go and.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that would be a fair way to approach this. Because I agree with you, when you take and ask, when a planning board puts conditions on a development that talk about the progression of the development, the problem is the progression of development is a function of demand. If the demand is not there, we don't want people building houses that lay vacant. That's of no value to the community. So doing that comes with a bad side to it, or a risk. So in this case, here he is, we see a lower demand than what he may have anticipated. He agreed to something on the 22nd, year 22, probably based on his assumption that he would be developed to the point where he would be ready to build that road, and conditions have changed from what he anticipated. I don't think that's any fault of his, and I don't think we want him developing in a manner that goes ahead of the demand.
I would go along with the resolution.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seems reasonable. It seems very reasonable and fair.
Yeah, it's a good thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty bouncy.
Yeah, it is. It's brought it up pretty good.
It brought it bad.
Yeah.
I've been on the truck when they've gone through there, and it's ugly.
Yeah,
I went down in my little car very
that was a
slowly.
mistake.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
And it was dry. And when it was wet, I think they might even consider not only leveling it, but putting some stone
No,
on it.
I requested him to refresh the stone, scrape off the mud that's there and get some fresh stone on there. And
He
get-
put a brand new sign out front.
Oh, did he?
He put all new signage out there, so he's thinking
That's
he's
the other
gonna
thing I
sell.
noticed.
You saw the new
There
sign?
are enough homes in there with numbers on them, but if you turn around 2 or 3 times, you don't know what street you're on anymore, because there's no road signs.
No, there's no street signs.
I'll get the highway superintendent to put up the Stony Pond Way. I know there is on the first intersection, I don't think he's got it on
It
the
is on
second.
the entrances, I think, but
Yeah.
after that, God help you if you turn around in there 2 or 3 times. Okay, which road am I on? I know what house that is, but
Yeah, I'll get the highway superintendent to put an additional street sign in there.
I thank you all for listening.
So, what is the condition?
That
That
the road,
the fire department notify us if they feel that road is unpassable for their equipment so that we can have the code enforcement officer issue a notice to remedy to the developer.
And that they will actually remedy the problem.
Correct.
So the notification goes to whom?
Tim Woolsey in the code
Okay,
office.
to Tim.
Yep.
So, I'm gonna sign a final plat with a condition on it that we won't know is met. Okay. Well, we're right back where we were. Anyway. Resolved that the planning board authorize the chairperson to review the final plat for one lot subdivision application of Bella Casa Builders by Alberisi for property located at 3033 Chillingham Way, formerly known as Lot 63, Collington Point East, Phase 1, Section number 3 and second amendment becoming Lot 63A, Farm Lot number 89, part of Tax Map number 073.1-01-41.3, and Tax Map number 073.1-06-12, modifying the lot width by adding 7 feet from the adjacent parcel and finding that all modifications and conditions have been met, and that the final plat is consistent with the approved preliminary plat, and that any differences found are not significant. The board authorizes the chairperson to waive the final plat public hearing and sign the final plat with the condition as we discussed and stated.
Let's add one more note to that. The plat shall not be released to the applicant for filing with the county clerk's office until the improvements to the construction road have been completed.
Okay?
That puts some leverage on it that we make sure that it gets done.
Right. So noted, Karen.
that gets
You got
it
that?
fixed, and then
Then we can monitor it going
it's just a
forward.
crapshoot for going
Thank
forward.
you,
but
thank you, because it
yeah.
was a crapshoot the way it
Yeah.
was.
Yes, this way we got some leverage in it that we can force his hand. You're not getting your map until you improve the access road.
All right. Do I have a second?
Second,
All those in favor?
Yeah.
Aye, opposed, abstained, so moved. Okay, we have one more here. This one, there is no changes to. It is as approved in the preliminary plat.
It's approved in the final plat,
This is
David,
the final.
that's fine. So he's actually
Yeah,
he's actually gonna file the home site lot now.
That's right.
So there is no changes. I didn't even write a letter for it because it's the exact same map that was previously approved. He's just actually filing the lot, the plat for the lot so that it is a subdivided lot.
so it's only a lot right now
Correct.
anyway.
Correct, it's
nothing else.
So we really don't need the conditions on this one.
Just one on the agenda.
I make the following resolution. Resolved that the planning board authorizes the chairperson to review the final plat for the one lot subdivision application of Bella Casa Builders by Alberisi for property located at lot 85 Stony Pond Way, Collington Point East, Phase 2, Section number 2.
Oh, not becoming lot.
I know. Let's see. Farm lot number 89, that is the right farm lot and tax, yeah. Tax map number 073.1-09-02.0. And finding that all modifications and conditions have been met and that the final plat is consistent with the approved preliminary plat, and that any differences found are not significant, the board authorizes the chairperson to waive the final plat public hearing and sign the final plat. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. That concludes our agenda for tonight. I will take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you, gentlemen. Our next meeting is scheduled for December 12th.